I was a cable kid. Growing up, I never watched YouTube or TikTok, mostly because at the time I grew up, the internet wasn't as popular as it is today. Back then, all I had for entertainment was cable television. For those who don't know, cable television is a service where you'd pay a company for a selection of television channels, and the more you pay, the more channels you get. Growing up, my family had never bought out all the channels, so we only had a few selection of channels. But it didn't matter, because the channels we did have were still home to the best shows and cartoons at the time. A good example being Nicktoon. This channel is my childhood. Fun fact, I was there when Nicktoons premiered to my cable subscription, and let me just say, the hype was totally worth it, as I was introduced to shows like The Fairly Odd Parents, a show about a beaver kid named Timmy and his two fairies Cosmo and Wanda that can grant this little kid any wish imaginable. It was mostly a comedy cartoon which followed Timmy and his fairies' random shenanigans. Like one episode where Timmy's fairies want a baby and he just wishes them one. But then Cosmo, the guy fairy, falls pregnant, and the shenanigans that take fold are hilarious. Like how Cosmo has the typical pregnant symptoms and Timmy has to deal with it for 3 months. There's an action side to the episode, but I don't know, I wasn't interested into that as a kid. Another show I really liked was Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. This show is actually one of my favorite shows ever. The show follows Jimmy Neutron, a literal boy genius. Like, this kid is so smart that he could probably beat a computer at chess. And I know you might ask, what does he do with this much brain power? Make inventions. That's it. I always thought as a kid that Jimmy was dumb, because if I was that smart and made such good inventions, there's only 2 things I do: sell my inventions and become rich, or world domination. Either one works for me. Like, there was this one episode where Jimmy Neutron throws a party at his house to get his crush to come to his house. Sadly, Jimmy did not take into account that he's a terrible party host.
Bomb? Well, it's right here. This is it.
What? No music? No dancing? No decorations?
No little weenies and little buns?
Leave it to Neutron to throw a totally lame party.
What about games? We could play Spin the Bottle.
So the party starts off boring until the kids in the party find his inventions and start messing with it. Jimmy then gets a call from his parents that's like, "Hey yo, we're 5 minutes away." So Jimmy panics and tries to get the kids to leave his house, but they don't. So what do you think our boy genius will do?
By speeding up time within the confines of my house using my time accelerator, they can have their party and leave it too.
What's going on? This is ridiculous.
Dude, you cannot make this crap up. After seeing that, all I have to say is Jimmy Neutron would definitely be able to beat Goku. Before I talk about the last Nicktoons show I loved growing up, I'll give you some honorable mentions. Fanboy and Chum Chum, Cat Dog, Avatar The Last Airbender, Danny Phantom, and lastly, Tough Puppy. So, presenting my favorite Nicktoons show of all time, My Little Pony, My Little Pony. I watched 3 cartoon channels while growing up. The first being Nicktoons and the second being Cartoon Network. The amount of memories and great shows that I've experienced with Cartoon Network, I could talk for hours. But I need to upload sometime this year, so I'll only talk about 3 cartoons. The first cartoon I'll be talking about is my Nostalgia Bomb cartoon. The second show I'll be talking about is my favorite modern Cartoon Network show. And lastly, the third show I'll talk about is my favorite Cartoon Network show of all time. So let's just jump right into it. My favorite Nostalgia Bomb show is The Grim Adventures of Millie. My favorite Nostalgia Bomb show is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Now, The Grim Adventures for Billy and Mandy isn't a show for everyone. I could tell because when I grew up, not everyone liked it. At least, none of my kid friends liked the show. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy follows 2 kids named Billy and Mandy that tricked the Grim Reaper and are now the Grim Reaper's masters. It's mostly your typical episodic comedy cartoon, but has a tiny bit of creepy in it. Like, every episode starts with a message from Mandy. Some can be sillies, while other messages can be...
Happiness is a waxen 2-headed baby. I have crippling depression.
There's an episode about a bully that keeps picking on Bully, and whenever he tries to confront him, the bully just gives him a wedgie. After a while, Mandy, the female protagonist and the most dead inside kid I've ever seen in fiction, confronts the bully, and we then find out that the bully loves confronting people, but hates being confronted. Get it? Because he's a bully and okay, I'll stop. The modern cartoon from Cartoon Network that I love is... Okay, it's regular show. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it short because if you've been watching cable TV for the past 10 years, you'll know regular show. It's this weird, wacky show that is in no means regular. It covers a broad array of topics such as setting up the chairs, bowling, and my personal favorite, Baby Duck. And yeah, that's all you're getting from me. If you're mad that I barely said anything about the show and didn't even make an effort to sell it to you, then go watch it regardless. Please. My favorite Cartoon Network show of all time is, that's right, The Fungies. And a very close second would be Adventure Time. Oh boy. Where do I begin? You know when Naruto ended and many people had a void in their heart that could never be replaced? I had that exact same experience, but with Adventure Time. Adventure Time is one of the only shows that I can say to this day that I grew up alongside with. From watching a 2-hour marathon of the show with my friend Jen every Saturday, to literally jumping of excitement until I got a headache whenever a new episode dropped, Adventure Time has a very special place in my heart, and watching it end was one of the bittersweet moments I've had in a while. I could talk about Adventure Time for hours. I'm terrible at selling things to people, but I'd bet money that you cannot watch this show in its entirety and not be hollow inside when it ends. Quick intermission, I'm in the recording process of this video, and the recording's 40 minutes long, and I plan to upload before this month end, so I'll quickly go over my last and final channel I grew up watching. Disney XD. Home to many great shows, one of my favorite being Disney 11. A drama show about a boy named Gabo and him playing soccer for a team called the Golden Hawks. It was like one of those shows that played on Telemundo. Anybody know Telemundo? Does anyone remember? Anyway, Disney 11, still a great show though, would smash. Another Disney XD show I watched would be Gravity Falls. A show that really needs no introduction. It's a show following the mysterious adventures of siblings Mabel and Dipper Pines, accompanied with one of the best humor in television, Fight Me. And lastly, Lab Rats, one of the most funniest sitcoms I've watched, and one of the more ambitious ones at that. It follows a kid named Leo finding out that his billionaire dad has 3 secret kids with bionics placed in them that give them superhuman powers. Also, fun fact, the dub voice actor for Naruto is in it. And that does it for this video. I might make a part 2, but only if that's something you guys really want to see, because there's still a lot more shows I haven't spoken about. This upload took long to make because these tweets, read them now. Fuck my voice, it just cracked. But hopefully you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more content, hell yeah. So that's all I really had to say. God damn, this recording is 50 minutes long. Scram!
君の虜になって